Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Freeview Channel 723.
Jacobs here on Talk Sport. That, of course, is the Prodigy, as I'm sure all fans will recognise. And joining us in the studio now, from the Prodigy, a man big into his motorcycle racing, got his own team, and he's heading for the TT. It's Keith Flint. Keith, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How did you, and when did you get into bikes? Does that sort of predate the band?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I think anyone that knows me and sort of follows the history of the band has often heard me sort of going on about the passion of bikes and, that goes back to being a teenager on the fields, sort of riding barely held together mopeds, nicking petrol out the dad's mower, and and it started there really. I've got two older brothers, one that was kind of into the sort of heavier 1000cc, kind of bit more chopper. He was, bit more of a rocker at the time, I suppose you'd call him, and then my other brother was sort of a bit more into the sports bikes, and so I kind of I grew up with that, and that gave me sort of the background for my passion for bikes.
And the success of the band, I suppose, allowed you to indulge that a bit. So have you built a bit of, because you could have gone that route, you could have gone down just a big collection of Harleys in a lockup somewhere, but you didn't, did you?
No, I didn't, to be fair. Well, funny you should say that. I'm actually just getting a bit of a buzz on for getting into some sort of chop. I just kind of, I've got a passion for that at the moment. I was riding out with a motorcycle club in Melbourne called the Ruiners. And as we were going down the sort of fast lane, ruling the motorway, there was something really kind of lawless and quite exciting about that. So, but you can't be going. If you like going fast and you like sports bikes, get yourself on the track. There's no better place to do it, and then there's just no better buzz. I did a couple of years racing, and sort of got that out of the system a bit.
How many bikes have you got? Have you got different bikes for different things?
Do you know what? I used to have a collection of bikes, but to be quite honest, it's I don't like cleaning. I don't own them to clean them. I own them to ride them,
Sure.
And it just means you've got 30 bikes in the garage that all need cleaning, and that becomes a headache. And starting them, batteries, etc. So, I just got a bike that I use for the studio, just a sort of real, commuter bike. I've got a bike for green laning, and then I've got me race bikes. I've got a Moto 2 bike, which is like a Grand Prix 600, and I've got the I've got the use of any of the race bikes, really.
We were saying off air though that riding bikes competitively and putting together 50-date world tours don't go hand in hand from an insurance point of view. So something has to give from your point of view, doesn't it? Really.
The first thing you do is make sure that your insurer sponsors you. And then that helps. That helps a lot. Good. So Dudesons, they sponsor us and help us along. But it's one of these things. If I work with them and I get it covered, I can ride. But certainly when you're mid-flow and the machine's out there with 10 Arctics with all your kit in it, it's an expensive day out if you can't make a gig. So I have to watch it. But the band has always. I think it survives because we don't tell each other what to do. So they might just sort of. Give you a hint of when to sort of hold back.
Now, you've got your own team, haven't you, that you're going to be entering into the TT, Isle of Man, this year?
Yeah, that's right,
Which is, how long have you been doing that?
Well, I started racing and started the team myself, doing endurance 3 hour with hot tracks. And we did a couple of years of that, myself and Ben Neves. And we got fourth the first year. We won it the second year, which meant that we moved up to national. And then Ben and Steve Mercer started riding that. That's where I really got to know Steve well, and he's our jockey for the TT.
Right.
The guys won that, and it felt like the team was really coming together. My connections with Suzuki, my crew chief, and the team in general we were really sort of solidifying. It was becoming really quite real. So, I suppose we built around Steve a team to go to the TT. We're also doing the Super Sport 600 in the British with an American guy, James Rispoli, who's going to come over, and he's a twice AMA rider. So we've basically got the British, which will be sort of short circuit, and then we're going to do a full road season with Steve.
Is this a real buzz for you, the TT? I mean, obviously the circuit takes you all around the world and there's some fantastic races, but, I mean, there's something about the TT as a Brit as well. It must be special to be involved in it.
I mean, it's like nothing else that really exists out there. It truly is one of the greatest races, and its foundation and its roots and its history, is unsurpassed with anything else. It's very easy to sort of call it kind of dangerous and kind of, and sort of get off on that, the danger of it. But it's not about the danger, it's about the bravery of the riders. They go out there fully aware that they're doing something very special, in an environment that is super challenging, and it's the respect that you have for the riders and their bravery and their skill to put themselves out there, and then you've got this passion that the fans that are there, people that pride themselves on going back every year, they adore the riders, and these people are really on a pedestal as far as the fans are concerned.
I mean, that's right. You must have kind of two very different. I mean, I'm sure there are Prodigy fans who love what you're doing with the bikes and follow you because they love the band, but you've probably got two different audiences: people that aren't particularly into the band but love what you're doing with the bike. Yeah,
I mean, I think that the music sort of inspires, people that are looking for an element of excitement. They're. So, definitely the riders that you speak to that, know the band and know the music, they sort of train to it and they get off on the energy of the music. And I suppose the fire that's in me, for the bikes, is what goes into the music. So it is hand in hand. But, I've just started using Twitter and,
that's a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. You put yourself out there, and then suddenly it's a popularity contest. But do you know what? It's very important to me that this does have a fan base. People do follow us, and we do. We look after the people that are into the team, and that they are fans of the team, and that we do look after them. Very much. Taking what I've learned with the band, and how to respect the people that follow you. But the nice thing is that on Twitter, a lot of the good response, because, obviously we've just been through doing New Year's Eve and a few bits at Christmas.
Yeah.
But a lot of the, sort of retweets and people's favourite stuff are all the bike stuff that we put on there. So it's quite nice to see that it's not just trading off the back of the band. It's got its own sort of merits, and I really respect that, and I enjoy that.
You're going to have some sort of presence at the London Bike Show as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we're going to go up there and sort of show the team off. We'll get James up there to shake some hands and sort of meet some people. So yeah, it's we're looking for a title sponsor at the moment. Is sort of very important to us.
It's tough out there. I imagine it is. I mean, even with your profile, it's tough to get money out of people.
I mean,
isn't it?
It is. They're two very different things. Being in a band and
the band aren't keen on sponsoring the team, are they?
Well, do you know what? It's one of the. In a way, it's nice to have a life outside that life because that consumes you, and it's nice to break away. But we want the bike to look, not be a sort of a sticker fest. We want it to be like an iconic bike that looks very very serious.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to chat more with Keith in a moment. Keith Flint from the Prodigy, chatting about his team that we're heading for the TT. We've got a piece of music to play, Keith, as well. I don't know if Prodigy want to do a remix or a version of this, but we'll play it to you, one of the few TT-related songs, in a few moments' time.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Sky Channel 0108.
Hello, this is Tim Key, and you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs on Talk Sport.
Keith Flint from the Prodigy with us. We've been talking about the Isle of Man TT and his team that he's taken there, Team Traction Control. Pete has joined us for the Sport. I'm just saying to Pete that the Prodigy could be a very good thing to crank up very loud as Spurs leave the field after a defeat at White Hart Lane, because Pete's on the controls. Just turn that right up to 11, and so they can't hear the booing that we always get accused of every time the team leave the field.
I don't know anything about football myself, I have to admit, but aren't Spurs doing well at the moment?
They're not doing too bad. From a West Ham fan, from nominally a West Ham fan, I'll take that as a compliment.
Very nominally.
Now, we said, Keith, we'll play you a bit of music. I don't know if the Prodigy would like to cover this. It'd be quite a subtle reworking. You wouldn't have to do a lot of work. This is one of the very few songs about the TT. Have a listen to this.
In a 50-mile race, I am the best. I ride 5 miles and skip the rest. Don't come along and see me riding in the TT races. Easier than hopscotch, beating all the top-notch aces. I've been riding all my life. I started quite small. I've ridden furry titles, high and scooters and all.
Can you do anything with that?
Well, I don't think it needs a lot of work, really, do you? I mean,
It's good, isn't it?
Bit of George Formby.
I love George Ford.
That's actually from the film, isn't it?
Yes.
I think that
There is a film about it, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't remember what it's called. Frank will know. Mate of ours, a big George Formby fan, he'll know, but I can't think off the top
It's
of
got
my
that
head.
song on it, the one when he's using his PC when I'm using Windows.
That's it. Oh, you're going through the card
I
now.
am now, yeah.
So there we are. Look, we'll leave that one with you, Keith. You fancy, if you
Yeah.
fancy covering that one.
We
So-
also told Keith about a book, a great book that we had.
Rick Broadbent.
Rick Broadbent's book about
Yes.
the TT.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the Murray Walker thing that's on Spotify.
Yeah,
Which we
yes.
used to play on the show regularly, which is basically Murray listens to people going around the TT and says, that's a 500cc.
Yeah, that's right. He can just tell by the engine.
Listen to
sound.
that, he'd
Yes.
say.
Could that be a specialist subject for you on Mastermind?
I'd like to think so, but maybe not. Maybe not.
But before we let you go, for the Prodigy fans, where are you at with the band at the moment? What's in the pipeline?
Well, I mean, we're working on the next album. You know, it should be out at some point this year. You know, we're not the fastest of writers, but it's about sort of getting it right. I mean, it's best not to rush it and make it, right for the fans. I mean, we're playing a few new tracks out, sort of road testing them, so to speak, and we're just, we slow the touring down, and go back into the studio and do the odd show, throw what we're working on out there. And just let it come together. But there'll be something at the end of this year, and probably start a sort of touring cycle beginning of next.
Fantastic. Look, we wish you well with that, and
Thank you.
at the TT and with the team.
Indeed.
Great to meet you. Thanks very much for
Yeah,
coming
and
in.
you. All the
Keith
best.
Flint there from the Prodigy.